Hello folks and welcome to another FAS Marketing Special Report. I'll be your host tonight, Matt Tuttle. We've taken you through many of the operations here at FAS, and today we're going to be focusing on webinars. What is a webinar, you may ask? Well, a webinar is a live online session connecting you via multimedia with hundreds, even thousands of people at the same time. Businesses from around the world are looking for cost-effective, productive ways of reaching customers. Webinars are an effective tactic for generating new leads, positioning your agency as a thought leader and trusted resource. Now let's look at the first of a 6-step process on how to create a successful webinar. When creating your webinar, it is important to set clear goals from the beginning. These goals must touch on who the target market is, how you will measure the success of your webinar, as well as the time frame in which your webinar will be constructed. According to Malcolm Lotsoff, CEO and co-founder of the event solution provider InExpo, production of a well-organized virtual conference should take a minimum of 60 to 90 days. Now let's take a break for interviews from FAS Central Office asking people what makes a good webinar.
You know, actually, a good webinar features a good speaker. I wonder if that Colin Powell fellow would be available.
That's right. 70% of companies who conduct webinars have ranked dynamic and recognizable speakers as the #1 determinant of a successful webinar. You can choose to hire a speaker from within or outside the federal government. A speaker from within the federal government can be found virtually anywhere. Use your resources to locate the person who fits that role best. Choosing a speaker from outside of the federal government can be done through the normal procurement process. MOBIS and Schedule 69 are great places to get started. You must plan, prepare, and implement the marketing campaign. And it all starts with building a distribution list. The use of the CRM Salesforce tool and the CAR office are great places to locate people for this list. Once that list is created, a registration page must be developed to record who will be attending the webinar, as well as record information on these attendees. Contacting these attendees through a post-webinar survey is vital to give you feedback on how the webinar was received. More information on these post-webinar surveys will be discussed later in the broadcast. When people register for this event, it is your duty to contact the FAS CIO office to obtain access to a dedicated mailbox for incoming registrations. When it comes to registration, your first line of defense is the internal sales and customer service staff members. These folks should have written documentation about the content of the webinar, as well as other important details that potential attendees may ask. They say practice makes perfect, and that's exactly what should be done with your webinar. Since the most important aspect of the presentation is content, reviews, edits, and updates must be performed to make sure the information being presented is accurate. Dry runs and rehearsals should be conducted with all participating parties, including the speaker, moderator, technology specialist, and any other players. These rehearsals should be done until everyone is comfortable with their role. Dry runs and rehearsals should be conducted with all participating parties, including the speaker, moderator, technology specialist, and any other players. These rehearsals should be done until everyone is comfortable with their role. Just before you're on the air, make sure everyone is in their place and the tools needed are present. The assigned person who is recording the webinar should only begin recording the second the webinar begins. As the webinar progresses, a timekeeper should be used to keep the webinar on track. Questions that may arise throughout the presentation should be monitored and presented to the speaker for further explanation. The day after the webinar, a thank you for attending or a sorry we missed you email should then be sent out to registered members. In these emails, the post-webinar survey will then be distributed. The recorded version of the webinar and the transcript will then be posted on the webinar's website. An email notifying the registered members of these postings will then be sent out. Another key performance measure is the use of analytics. This will provide you with various kinds of information on the attendees. The Web Trends tool is available to FAS employees for this purpose. Contact the FAS CIO for information on web trends. If you have any additional questions, please contact the CAR office, or you can reach us on the web at the CAR Resource Library. We thank you for tuning in to another edition of FAS Marketing's Special Report. Tune in next time for more exciting news here at FAS. I'm Matt Tuttle, signing off.